Hello friends, welcome to my channel and my face. I'm going to be doing a makeup look today using Paris Hilton's Rosy Eye and Cheek palette and lipstick. I also wanted to talk a little bit about her documentary that is on YouTube. If you want to see me go from this to this, then keep on watching. I just wanted to talk about it because I thought it was really interesting. I didn't really know too much about her except for what I saw in the tabloids, and they were not the most flattering things. It was really intense to watch, and I just have a whole new level of respect for her after watching all that. So I'm going to start by priming my face. I'm going to use this E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer. This Paris Hilton film documentary thing. I just thought that she was some rich person that inherited a bunch of money because she was, in the Hilton family, but apparently Paris's grandfather, I think, that was the one that made the hotel chains. And basically, out of the 8 kids, the first 5 got millions of dollars, and the last 3, they were just like, whatever, you get to fend for yourself, go figure it out. They didn't inherit a bunch of money, and they worked. That's what they said in the documentary. Paris's mom was a model from a very young age, but her mom didn't want her to go into modeling because, she's been there, done that, didn't want her to have that life. Her grandmother was so supportive of Paris being herself, being a star. She just saw something in her that nobody else really did. I'm going to mix this with this Milani Conceal and Perfect. Before I do that, I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Apparently, she went to a Catholic school when she was growing up. How many people have been to Catholic school? I spent a couple years in Catholic school when I was living in New Orleans. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but it's definitely different than just a regular public education, that's for sure. So in the documentary, they also interview her sister, Nikki, because she's one of the people that knows her best, and she makes it very clear. She's like, I don't do these interviews, but I want it to be authentic. So she goes and she kind of comes off as like this cold person, but she even says, I seem like I'm hard on her because she has so many yes people in her life. Respect. Glad she has a sister who is looking out for her, even if it doesn't seem like it's, the nicest thing. Okay, so while they're interviewing her sister, it shows some clips of her going to this banquet for animals. She has such a love for animals. They interviewed her mom and Nikki, and they were talking about how as a kid Paris would save up money and buy these animals, but not just like a little hamster or anything. She would get snakes, monkeys, goats, that type of thing. And it kind of drove everybody a little bit crazy, but I thought that was really cute. And she even says, I like animals more than people. Which, girl, I hear you. I guess the vibe you get from this whole film is that Paris is constantly go, 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 always on the run, always doing something. Her sister is getting mad because she makes them late for everything, but that's just kind of her deal. She's running, she forgets something, she has to go back. I feel like I relate to that too. I always feel like I'm in a rush, and then I forget things, and then I have to go back, and I know it annoys everybody, and I'm sorry about it. That's just how I am, so... Actually, here is the Paris Hilton palette. I primed my eyelids with some eyeshadow primer. I actually used this a little bit earlier, and let me just say, this is a cheap palette that I got from Ross. It was like $5, I think. It is not a fancy makeup palette at all. It's really, really cheap, but I just wanted to see what I can make work with this. So hopefully it turns out. Hang with me. Back to Paris. Paris Hilton is a DJ, and she makes up to $1 million a night for some of the gigs that she works. That's insane. I had no idea. That's really cool. That's awesome. Good for her. She's done so many different things. She has 19 different product lines, like skincare, perfume, makeup. A very driven individual that gets things done. You kind of find out why she is so driven, why she is kind of so busy all the time. Did y'all know that Kim Kardashian was Paris's assistant for a while? I feel like I kind of knew that, but just like totally forgot about it because Kim kind of blew up and became her own little brand and her own brand and persona, and did really well for herself. I think if you ask people how they know about Kim Kardashian now, they would say through the TV show or through her makeup or something along those lines. I think if you asked that 5 years ago, people would say, oh, I know her because they leaked a tape, if you will. The same thing happened to Paris, and it was very different even 10 years ago, how the paparazzi was towards celebrities. Nowadays, we know that revenge porn is not okay. To share private moments like that, it's not okay to film somebody and then share those moments with the rest of the world without their consent. You can get in a lot of trouble for it now, but that didn't exist back then. This is not something that she did on purpose, because that was the way that the media portrayed it, is that she did this on purpose. She wanted the attention, and that was not the case at all. So keep in mind, when that happened, she was 18 years old when that happened. Geez, it doesn't matter. People don't deserve to have private information or videos or pictures put out there. Like, nobody deserves that. It doesn't matter what she did. It doesn't matter who she was involved with. It just should not have happened. I don't have high hopes for how this black is going to perform. It's probably going to be patchy and gross, but I don't care. So the film goes on and you see her. She says that she's about to go out of town and she's putting up these security cameras because she has a new boyfriend and she wants to see what's going on while she's out of town. I think that right there just tells you that she's been through so much hurt that she can't trust anybody. And then she even gives examples later on in the documentary of some of the things that her ex-boyfriends have done. I don't like how that black was turning out, so I'm going to put in some purple instead. Paris goes on I guess it's a mini vacation, or it was supposed to be, but she still can't stop working. She said that she downloaded an app that tells her how much screen time she's had, and she usually spends like 16 hours a day on social media. And I commend her because she does that all herself, you know? I don't know, I'm sure she has assistants or something, but in this documentary, you see how much of it she does herself. And I don't think that she gets enough credit for all of the hard work that she does. Media is so quick to dismiss her, and it's so frustrating, especially seeing, because, you know, what I saw of her back in the early 2000s, it was just mostly just trash talking her. But there's so much more to it than that. Okay, so going back to the DJ gig that she does, she's going to perform at this festival. It's super huge for her. Yeah, so her boyfriend's being a dick right before she's about to go on stage. Like, it's so frustrating to watch. Like, this guy is garbage. She's asking somebody to please take this dude's wristband away so he can get away from her. Okay, this is like a weird shimmery blush. I remember being like, ew, I don't like it. So I'm gonna try and put it on as highlight, but it doesn't really look that good on me. Goes on stage and she kills it. I don't know if this was just the way that it was edited by the documentary team or whatever, but she goes on stage. She still manages to do an amazing job. It looks like it went well. After they show that little part with the set, they actually go in. I don't like shimmery. No, you know what? I'm using the eyeshadow as a blush now, so this is my fault. So the next part of the documentary, they go in to what happened to her as a teenager. Basically, her parents thought she was in trouble. She was going down the wrong path. She was very rebellious, you know, just like typical teenage stuff, you know? And I think that when you have that pressure on you of being in this family, this prestigious family, she said her mom wanted her to be a Hilton, but all she wanted to be was Paris. I guess having that pressure on you, I mean, I know when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I was the same way. There's like this image that she had to uphold. And yeah, so she was kind of rebellious, and her parents were having a hard time with her, so they decided to send her to this boarding school. It sounds terrible. So her sister Nikki talks about how it was a school night and how she just heard these screams from Paris. Like, she was just screaming bloody murder. Basically what happened is these strangers come into the house and they kidnapped her. They forced her to come with them. She didn't know who they were. She was crying out for help. She was screaming for her mom and dad. And as they were pulling her out, her parents were just watching and they were crying, allegedly, but they just let it happen. So Paris gets taken off to wherever. She goes to someplace in Utah. The next day, Nikki says that her parents were just acting like everything was normal. They just said, oh, she's off at boarding school. And they didn't really talk about it. It cuts to another scene where Paris and Nikki are talking. I guess the interviewer is asking her sister, well, were you afraid that that was going to happen to you, that your parents were going to do that to you too? And she's like, oh, no, because Paris was naughty and I wasn't. And I told on her for everything, you know? And so a very much like a typical sister relationship there. But her sister even says, did you ever apologize to mom and dad for how you were? And Paris says, hey, I went through hell too, you know. Paris talks a little bit about some of the things that would happen there. A lot of the student, I don't even know what the students, a lot of the people that were there, these are kids, mind you, like teenagers. So they were forced to take these drugs that kept them like zombies, so they wouldn't fight or speak out or do anything. They had very strict rules. There was a lot of abuse happening. Paris says that she thinks that these people who are working there really just did this as a sick way to fulfill some kind of something. Preying on children and abusing them and using them basically she was saying like they get off on this kind of thing and it's disgusting. So she was there for 11 months at this Provo Canyon in Utah. Apparently the laws in Utah are more lax, I guess, when it comes to how you can treat kids. Basically, you can get away with a lot more there than other places. I see you, Utah. That's not cool. So among the abuse that she suffered while she was there, she was put in solitary confinement. Like if you're a prisoner and you go into a room where there's nothing, and she said that they would take away her clothes, so she would be in there, she would be put in solitary confinement for like 20 hours without any clothes, with nothing else, and it's just inhumane to treat people like that. So Kat Von D is another celebrity that came out and talked about her experience with this place, and I've listened to podcasts where they've talked about places like this. Why do those places exist? No. While she was in solitary confinement, all she could think about, this is what got her through, was her thinking about how she was going to achieve all of her dreams, how she was going to be so successful that she would never have to depend on anyone. Nobody else could take away anything from her. And she wanted to live freely and do her own thing. And that's the thought of she had this drive where she wanted to go out, create this brand, and do this all on her own and without any help, she was going to make this happen for herself. And I think you can definitely tell that mindset is still very much real for her. I mean, she has so she has 19 different product lines. She's a DJ. Like, the girl freaking hustles, man. She doesn't stop. She's a hard worker. So she says that she never talked to her family about the experience, but she talks about having these nightmares all the time. And she basically relives that moment when she was kidnapped from comfort of her home and brought to this terrible place. So, and this happened, she's in her late 30s, and this happened when she was in her teens. That trauma is real. Going through that, and then to go through what she did in the following years with the tabloids, and oh my gosh. And then not to mention that it explains that she went through some really bad relationships. Even like the dude that she was with, that they showed on camera, like, he sucks too. The next part, she meets up with some of the other survivors that went to school with her. So these are people she hasn't seen in like 20 years. They talk a little bit about what happened. They shoot this campaign to help raise awareness about this place and explain some of the lifelong effects that they have to deal with as a result of going to this place. Like I said, I'm going to link that video down below. I just want to warn you guys, it is a little bit hard to watch, especially if you're a survivor. It's pretty intense, but I also think it can be empowering for other people who have gone through similar experiences to see, hey, This person went through it, they survived, they're talking about it. It's okay for me to talk about it too, because places like that school that she went to should not exist. You know, people will raise their kids however. I worked as a teacher. What I taught was art, so I really value expressing yourself, period. And I think that if there was a little more love and a little more flexibility and encouragement to express yourself, to be creative, that would solve quite a few problems. At the end, Paris says that she's in a better place than she has been in a long time. And the interviewer asks, so, well, can you divorce your brand? Can you divorce yourself from your brand? And she immediately was like, no. So I just think she's a very driven individual. She said that she's like, oh, I'll rest when I make $1 billion. I'm like, ooh, girl. So she's very driven, and maybe part of that stems from some of the trauma that she went through. It's that constantly chasing something to feel better, constantly chasing something to feel good enough, to feel untouchable, to feel so powerful that nothing can touch her again. That's the gist of it. It goes into so much more detail, but I would recommend watching it. It really was eye-opening. I have a whole new level of respect for her. I have no idea what I wouldn't even know how to even start some of the things that she's accomplished. Oh, by the way, this makeup that I got from her is from Ross. So I will say that it has her name on it, but it is a cheap makeup brand that is being sold at Ross. Not that all brands are like that. Not that this has anything to do with like her. Do I think that she's wearing this on her face? No, absolutely not. Oh yeah, and I got these mascaras, not that I really use mascara, but it was a pack of 3 mascaras, and the 2 of them were dry. This one, let's see if I can get anything to come out. It smells questionable, so who knows how long this has been in the box doing that thing. But anyways, yes, I won't be using any of these products again, but I did want to point out, like, I don't know how to make a makeup brand. I don't know the first thing about it. I will say that it is affordable. So a lot of people have access to this brand. Personally, I don't think that the makeup is anything special, but oh yeah, it has these lipsticks too. So I'm going to put this on and see how it turns out. Is this the one I tried earlier? You know what? We'll go with it. I changed my mind. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, so here's another color I'm going to try out. Let's see if this one. Oh, you know what? No, I kind of like this one. Does it match? No. I have a whole collection of wigs that I would love to put on camera and create some makeup looks with, but I just don't have them with me at the moment, so sorry about it. I don't really care for the makeup, but you know what? I appreciate Paris's hustle. You go, girl. Get it. Keep doing you. Anyways, that's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed this look while I played with makeup. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye! I haven't done any styling to this. I haven't plucked the hairline. There's a lot of things that I would do to this wig to make it look more realistic and look more, I guess, stylized and not just like I threw a wig on my head, but this is what I got for now. Yeah, this really looks like I just threw a wig on my head. I could do better. But you know what? I didn't even bring tweezers with me. What is wrong with me? What do y'all think? Anytime I wear this hair, I just think I look like Khaleesi with my dark brows and my super blonde hair. Very Mother of Dragons. What do you think? Okay, thanks for watching.